Knows what that sound is as we start to go live. It's wait, did I roll a wild? We're here to make you smile. It's not hot but mild, which is good for childs. It's us. We have a brand new setup here. As you can see, we are looking gorgeous. We are looking unique. We are so excited to be here for episode 99.
This is 99?
It is 99 of Wait, Did I Roll a Wild? A Marvel Crisis Protocol vlog. Tonight, we have an absolute metric ton to go over.
There's so much stuff.
There is...
No Dr. D to keep us on task.
Well, and that's the thing. Shout out to Dr. D. So we are having some severe weather issues here in upstate New York. It is icy. It is rainy. The roads are awful. I elected to record from home tonight, so you can see my beautiful office behind me, which is definitely real and not a green screen. And
that looks fantastic,
right? I think it looks pretty great. But so Dr. D was going to be on tonight, but it's just problematic with the internet. So apologies to him, because I know he was very excited about getting his heads crushed by some diamond thighs or something along those lines. But
I believe he did say those exact words.
Yeah, but very, very legitimately. But hey, Tubert, hey, Ben, how is everyone doing tonight? But yeah, so we were talking about the Spider-Woman character cards. Those were revealed. We also got the tactics cards for Spider-Woman and Agent Venom. We also got a new OP kit that's going to be live at Adepticon. You can sign up for it right now on the C-Vent. There was an unannounced OP kit that was on there from Marvel Crisis Protocol. You can add that to your carts. If you have tickets to Adepticon, you can go there right now and upgrade or whatever you call, sign up for that particular event. It's Spider-Man themed. It's Sinister 60. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be going over the details later in the show. We are also talking about those diamond thighs of Emma Frost as well as Psylocke, which were revealed earlier this week as well. There's so much
excited by that one.
Right? Yeah, I was not expecting that. And it was like right before we went live for before Mitch and I started streaming on Monday. This past Monday, Mitch was on the power phase. We played some Weapon X against some, what did I play again? Oh, Winter Guard with Rhino, who's awesome, by the way.
Wait, you had Rhino in that game?
I did. Not only were we able to get Rhino right on time from Bearded Dragon Games and online on release day. Granted, very late on release day, but still done. Lindsay put it together over the weekend and painted it, and I was able to field him on Monday.
That's awesome.
Right? I was super stoked.
I didn't get to watch much of that game because we were doing a bunch of driving that day, so I was seeing the updates as Danny was driving, and I was like, whoa, new models! And she was like, shut up, I'm driving.
You're like shoving the phone in her face. She's trying to get directions from MapQuest, and it's just not working. MapQuest.
Look, it's Emma Frost, and she's like, I don't even know what exit I have to go on.
But, so in addition to all that, we're going to be at LVO next week. So, no normal stream Monday. Or if you've been following and checking out the World of Warcraft streams that I've been doing Tuesday through Friday as well, we've started a guild. We're having a grand old time, so I'm streaming that every afternoon, Tuesday through Friday, weekly. That will be offline next week, as we will be at LVO all week, all weekend, streaming all of the incredible events and probably the biggest tournament that has happened so far for MCP, especially in person. Yeah. Will LVO be able to hold on the reins for that size tournament? Who knows? But it is certainly the biggest so far. Dan, I have a very personal question for you. Something that I would never, ever ask. It's only because we're so close that I feel like I'm comfortable asking this.
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable asking Dr. D this, and I probably never will. Did you hobby this week? And if so, what did you hobby?
I did hobby this week. I was thinking of this earlier, and I was like, I didn't do any hobby this week to talk about. I did get my Rhino put together and primed. They'll get paint on him eventually, hopefully soon. I hope before LVO. Otherwise, it'll be another week or so. But yeah, he's sitting on the paint tray, ready to go. Just haven't gotten to that yet.
Beautiful. I primed a Rhino this past week over the weekend.
Wow.
Not only that, but for the first time ever in my adult, child, or adolescent life, I primed a model that was tacked to a prescription bottle.
Oh, classic. The
So,
Taylor method.
right? I think it actually worked out really well. I wish that's something I had adopted way sooner. But, sometimes it be what it do,
Alyssa has a good point in chat. I just need to make an hour and a half to do it. That's fair. I could do Rhino in an hour and a half.
So, during some of the WoW streams, Alyssa was putting together both Rhino and getting Malekith together, I believe, for Ben to bring to LVO. Spoiler alert. And I will say that while it only takes an hour and a half to complete Rhino, it also only takes an hour and a half to sit and stare at Malekith and figure out how you're going to get out of magnetizing him.
to travel with it.
Right?
Yeah, those wings.
But
they look awesome, but I would not want to like bring it on a plane.
So I guess maybe to jump right into it because we have so much.
Yes.
One of the first reveals of the week we got was Spider-Woman's card,
which was nice.
It was super nice. You can see that up on screen here now. So here's the thing. She's really good.
You're real good.
This is a great box. It has a bunch of tactics cards in it. It has a whole bunch of interplay with other affiliations and other characters. This is a solid box. I see this as being a really, 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 really hot item. And if you are thinking about getting it, I would get it quick because I would not be shocked if your LGSs were sold out of this one. Maybe a good place to pre-order this. Obviously, you can get it right from AMG on their web store. Another place, if you want to help a local game store, make our local game store your local game store, beardeddragongames.online is a place that you could get that for maybe 15% off retail as long as it's up for pre-order. If it's not up for pre-order, you can get it on, maybe for 10% off using code PCME10 at checkout. In addition,
probably could.
Quick announcement. Next month, February 18th, we will be running our first Standard Challenger tournament at the new Bearded Dragon here in upstate New York. So,
I'm super excited for that.
Check out the Facebook, the Professional Casual Facebook, facebook.com/professional casual for the Longshanks information and the Facebook group information for that as well. Get in, come up, see us, hang out, play with me, Taylor, Dan, Ben and Alyssa might be there. Devil Pup was talking about maybe coming up. So was Half Days Ninja. So, I mean, there could be a lot of people at this. It should be an absolute blast, and we have a significantly bigger, more beautiful space to run those events at Bearded Dragon Games, so please make sure to check them out. But
I think it'd be the first event of its kind at the new store. Like, not just MCP, but any
nice.
like that, which is exciting.
Oh, yeah, Rusty has to come up for this, too. I expect a lot of you there. And legitimately,
Rusty.
Don't go out of your way, especially if it is a super long drive. We would just like to see you guys, that's all.
There are plenty of hotels in Oneonta.
There actually are a bunch.
Like a lot.
And February is a great time for a great rate there as well, because there's no college and there's no baseball in town. So, great time. But also, there's a laserderm place across the hall. So if you're thinking, oh, wow, February 18th, that's right after Valentine's Day. Guess what? Spa day. Go get your nails done.
Go get a tan.
Go get your tan. Go get some red light therapy right across the hall.
Barbershop downstairs. Get your hairs cut, your beard trimmed.
You can get it all done. Make it a whole family day. I'll also be running some MCP demos during the tournament as well. So maybe you are unfamiliar on how to play, or maybe you're bringing someone that wants to learn. You can play in the tournament, and I'll teach them how to play. So that way, when you're both done, you can go home and play some more. I mean, it's pretty much going to be the best thing you can possibly do. But anywho, Jessica Drew.
No beard trim.
Who is Ulik? But more importantly, let's look at the Spider-Woman card.
Oh, yeah.
So we got a 4-threat, which I don't know if anyone was expecting, but we got one, and she lives up, honestly, to the double agent, Skrull infiltrator, Avenger that she is. We have
she's definitely right in line with Sabretooth.
Yeah. Get his words, get his name out of your mouth. Oh, well, I guess which Sabretooth do you mean?
Oh, on the cleanup phase, we decided he was the most mid 4, and
Yeah.
you know,
I do not think she's mid. I think she is a good 4.
no. She's really, really good.
So she has 4-3-3 for defenses, which out of the gate is pretty solid, especially when you consider some of her innates later. She has 6 and was it 6-6 or 6-5?
6'5". I went to swipe on my screen, but my laptop is not a touch screen. Yeah, she's 6'5".
Just keep poking it. Just keep jamming.
It won't. It's not doing anything. It's just changing color where I push it.
So she is a 6'5". She's 4 threat size, 2, and a long mover. And this is actually one of the huge important things for me. That is awesome. What's up?
I was gonna look up. I forgot. When was the last time we got a long mover? It's been a dog's age.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Viper?
That's my first thought. That there's no way we haven't had a long mover since Viper, right?
I don't know.
I can't think of another one. It's been a long time.
Yeah, who came out more recently, Black Cat or Viper?
Viper, for sure.
Okay. Yeah, it might legitimately be Viper.
That's crazy.
Because none of the new Black Order stuff had it. None of the new Asgard stuff had it. Yeah.
It's just nice. It's nice to see a 4 threat with long move. We see it most like Angela, of course, is more expensive, and Korbach Spider-Man is a 4 as well with long movement. But there are very few 4 threats with long move, so that's right there.
Right.
We love long move here, so that's like, ooh.
Well, and make sure to check out next week. We won't have a live, most likely, unless we're able to get stuff up and running while we're at LVO setting up. But Mitch guest starred on an episode to have just so we had something to play. And we talk a lot about terrain, wall crawler, flying, and kind of how all of that interacts with one another. The fact that this is a long mover with wall crawler is actually kind of perfect timing for that episode to come out, because she's going to get around a lot of that. But yeah, so out of the gate, just those stats honestly breathe 4 to me. But let's get into her builder, Bioelectric Strike. Range 3.
This is the meat and potatoes right here.
It really is, and it's solid too. Like I wouldn't hesitate to spend 1 on this if this was like one of those mid-range spenders.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's range 3, strength 5. It is energy, and you gain power equal to the damage dealt. Here's the super awesome, super rad, cool, important thing. It has neuro disruption on a wild. Before damage is dealt, and that is insanely important. Before damage is dealt, for each wild, each one, not just one, for each one, in the attack roll, the defending character gains one of the following special conditions: poison, shock, or stun. Being able to apply stun on a wild prior to damage being dealt is incredible. We've only seen that in a few places before. One of them's like Mystique's Spender.
Yeah.
And outside that, there's very few places that this actually happens. Being able to apply stun before dealing damage is so cool. Or say you're attacking OG Sabretooth and you can apply that stun, or I'm sorry, that shock before he hits you back or something along those lines.
What I like about it too is that before damage is dealt, you can decide which one to do. So if you only know you're getting 1 damage through and you're like, well, it's not worth it to stun.
Oh yeah.
You just do a different one anyway. But if you're like, oh, I got 4 damage through, I got a spike here, stun them so they only get 1 power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I do like that too, right? Because you're right. Yeah, if you think 1 damage is going to be going through, choosing poison to get a power off, at the start of the next power phase, also not awful.
And she has some self synergy with poison as well.
Correct. Actually, very much so. So why don't you tell us about her spender, Dan? My understanding is pretty intoxicating.
All right, so she's got her Intoxicating Blast, another energy attack. It's only range 2, but strength 7 for 3 power. And after the attack is resolved, the target character drops all objective tokens it's holding, which is woo. But it also has a trigger on a wild for sensory overload. If the target character has the poison special condition, before damage is dealt, this character may advance the target character short. Then it drops all any objectives it's holding. So you really get to choose. You move them short if they're poisoned, and place the objectives within 2. Like, talk about board control. Ugh.
Yes, and yeah, this has really kind of captured her as a character in general, where she has that kind of pheromone stuff that can make people maybe sometimes do what she wants them to do.
Yeah.
Being able to get objectives off people that's not like a straight up spend, like Enchantress or Black Cat or something along those lines, or even Rhino's tactic card. This is on an attack. You have to have poison on there first. They have kind of created a couple layers here, right, that you need to do before you're applying this. And because of her history as a whole, being a Hydra agent briefly, being a Skrull, being an Avenger, I cannot tell you how excited I am to see her in Hydra, especially with
Oh,
Baron Strucker's ability to poison, right?
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll get into that, I'm sure. But yeah, what an awesome ability. And there's caveats there too, right? That don't make it super overwhelming. The move happens before you take the objective off. So if you are trying to get her out of dodge and get someone way away, you do have to be a little bit careful on that placement
Yeah.
to make sure that you're able to still drop that within range. Because I believe a short move is about range 2. Um, so if they're not right up against you, you are probably not going to be able to pick that up. But
Right. But
uh,
it is only a range 2 attack too, so she's got to be
correct.
real close. She's not doing this from any kind of distance, so you want to
Hmm.
get as probably as close as you can before you use this attack.
Yeah. Oh, Alyssa brings up a good point. I hadn't thought about this earlier either. She's probably going to be solid in A Force.
Oh yeah,
So her first, actually her only active superpower is I don't fly, I glide.
I love the name of this one. It's so good.
It's a range 2 place for 2 power. Awesome. She's already super maneuverable. Like
Right
already incredibly maneuverable, and this makes it even better.
now, she's not using an action to get into position to potentially bioelectric strike to put poison on before you intoxicating blast. She's also going to be really good friends with Omega Red to
Hmm.
be able to
Yeah.
give poison, or Proxima Midnight.
Oh
Another long
yeah.
mover can keep up with her. She can apply poison with some range.
100%. Axel brings up a good point as well, where that all you've got, being able to take 3 damage to get that intoxicating blast off for
Huh.
for free. I think we continue to see all you've got remain kind of in a very good spot where there's constantly characters to use it on. Rhino is another. Nope, Rhino's not another one. That was a joke. But yeah, I really like it. I think that's solid. I mean, what else could she possibly have? How about interrogate? You
Oh,
remember?
so good.
Remember Agent Widow? How she could get extra victory points if she was within range 2 of one or more days characters during the cleanup phase?
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I know a lot of people haven't seen her before or even know that she exists, but it's actually a really cool reactive that can get you some victory points because there's so few just straight up options that characters have to get additional victory points during the cleanup phase, and they have
Yeah.
reintroduced that one here with interrogate, which once again makes sense. Double agenting all over the place to make sure that listen, if you're there and you're going to daze somebody, which granted doesn't seem like that's her primary purpose, but with only energy attacks, there are certainly some people that she could do some heavy damage to. Groot,
Oh,
Venom,
yeah.
a lot of people with that 2 strength or that 2 defense in energy.
Blob.
Blob, yes, actually,
Yeah, she's not a heavy damage dealer, but she's not no she's no slouch either.
no, not at all. Well, and she has martial artists. That's going to keep her around.
Martial
She
artist is so nice.
Especially if she's in range for that intoxicating blast. If she's in range 2 on physical or energy attacks, she can count blanks in her defense rolls in the total successes. She also has stealth, so there's a very small window where you can attack her outside of martial prowess. If you've ever played against Mystique every game for months, you'll know that, hey, there's a very specific window you need to be in to make sure that you are not getting martial artist. She's also a 6 threat because she's immune to poison and has wall
What?
crawler.
She's not even a Kree. What is she immune to poison for? Or
Uh,
a robot?
I think because she's mostly poison, like in general.
She's she's a poisonous spider
Yeah. Hey,
woman.
wait, or is it venomous? She's venomous, right?
She's immune. Well, yeah. I mean, the poison condition should be a venom condition because if you get bit by something and you get sick, it's venomous. If you eat something and you get sick, then it's poisonous.
All right. So don't eat Spider-Woman.
Because she's immune to poison.
Right. Because, yes. But anyway, on her flip, defenses stay the same. She does drop 1 stamina to stamina 5. Outside that, I do not believe there are any changes on her flip.
Yeah, I think the only change is that lower stamina, which is super, super common.
Yeah.
To go 6-5.
All right. So then you want to move right into her tactics cards?
Do I? These are all bangers too.
They they really are. Here we go. Let's get those up there.
So we mentioned the double agent aspect of her character and personality a whole bunch. It's so important that she got a tactics card for it, which is really, really. I like this one a lot. So it's unaffiliated, which is nice. You can take it wherever you take Spider-Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Reactive at the start of the activation phase. So this is one of those I never remember to use till halfway through.
Right.
Spider-Woman may spend 2 power to play this card. Choose an enemy character. The next time the chosen character gains an activated token, remove an activated token from Spider-Woman.
I can't tell you how much I love this card.
It's so great.
I can't tell you how much I love this card. Also, just real quick on the interrogate, it does not look like there's been a rules forum update yet on whether this can in fact stack with Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Taking the over-under here, I don't know.
I'm going to say, I would imagine it would. They're 2 different characters that have to pay power to do it.
Same.
It's not like is it the same name? Is it the same exact thing as Agent Widow?
Yes. Yep. Same power name and wording.
Yeah, I feel like if you're paying power for it, it's not on the same character card. You're not doubling up on the same superpower that way. So I feel like gut reaction, you should be able to do it with both.
So what chat is saying right now is that maybe it can't target the same dazed character. So maybe you can't have Spider-Woman and Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. interrogating the same prisoner. Maybe it has to be different prisoners. But I could honestly, I could see that working in any of those ways, and I guess I'd not be surprised. Yeah. But yeah, so with Double Agent, I love this because I love this type of play where during the activation phase, this just has so much use. If I have priority and I'm putting it on a character that I don't want you to activate first, right? There's so much workaround. Do I put it on someone that I want you to use? That you want to use? That I don't want you to use? Am I doing it when you have priority to force you or feel like I'm psychically forcing you to activate a character first that I don't care if you activate it all or not, but at least it gives me a bigger priority somewhere else across the board? Like, I love this. It's so incredibly thematic. It fits with Hydra like a gem, just a jewel in Hydra for me. I adore this card. Adore it.
One of my favorite things about it is that it could not work. She might not get that other activation, and it would still probably work because, like you said, you could essentially be deciding for your opponent what character they're activating last because they're like, well, if I activate this character, then Spider-Man gets to go again, and she's got a lot of red stuff on her card. So you're like, oh, whatever, Juggernaut.
Right.
He's going last now because you threw this double agent on him.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to activate him until as late as possible.
Well, and right here's the thing too.
But even then, it still wouldn't work if she went. So
right.
I guess really go the other way. You'd want to activate that character sooner.
Correct.
I had that backwards for a minute.
No, so that's the thing is depending on the scenario, if you have priority or your opponent has priority, it does change. This card has a lot of uses and is kind of very fluid. Whether it's for psychological control of your opponent, if it's because you have priority and you're going to activate Spider-Woman first, and you don't really care, you just want to activate her twice. It could, to force your opponent's hand. And that's why it's perfect as a double agent. This could also hurt you. This could also be one of those things where you use double agent and then your opponent dogpiles her so that she doesn't get a first activation, let alone a second.
Right, so you put a big target on her,
Mm-hmm.
or it could cause you to lose priority, which could be major depending on the game. I love this card because there's so many like I don't know, but it just sounds so awesome. Like to be able to remove an activated token is so, especially on a character with so much she can do during her turn, to have another turn.
And with that too, this dog piles with interrogation, right? So if you activate her early and she doesn't daze the target that you're going for, but you have that ability, you're just removing the activated token when that targeted character activates, right? You're not saying she has to go right after them. You can then choose to have her go last, get into range, take someone down, or maybe someone else got taken down early in the round, and then you can interrogate them. There's a lot of really cool stuff with this. I love Double Agent. That's an absolute hard take for me.
They nailed it with that one. That's like every time you take Spider-Woman, you've got that.
Correct.
It's like Rhino, and this is a robbery.
Right. Yep. No, and which were both just stellar, just really fun, really great cards. So the second one up is On Patrol. This is an unaffiliated reactive. An allied Spider-Woman or Carol Danvers may spend 2 power to play this card during the power phase. This round, whenever an enemy character interacts with or picks up an objective token, both Carol Danvers and Spider-Woman may advance short. Doesn't say advance towards, doesn't say advance away, doesn't say advance towards another objective, just advance. This is a micromanaged little baby Avengers Assemble.
And another thing I like about this card is that it says Carol Danvers, not Captain Marvel. So heavily implies we'll be getting a different version of Captain Marvel sometime in the future. The image on the card also doesn't quite match the current Captain Marvel we have. She's got that 90s bomber jacket and the mask. So I'd love to see a new different version of we pretty much confirms we're going to see a new different version of Captain Marvel in the future.
Yeah.
Which sounds awesome.
I just absolute quick shout out to Alyssa in chat right now.
Yeah.
I just imagine a bunch of people standing over an unconscious body yelling, "Where are the other drugs going?" in that Pete Holmes Batman voice. I love that bit and that character so much.
Just Spider-Woman and Black Widow just kicking somebody while they're down yelling at them.
"Oh no, Commissioner Gordon, there was just somebody else here." Those comedy bits are just so good. They're just sleeping. But yeah,
on patrol the whole round. Every time they interact or pick up an objective token, you get a short advance, as if Spider-Woman's not fast enough already.
Especially with the update to the crises, right? So there's now, say you're playing Senators or Skrulls, there's now 6 when there was just 1 on the field. And now anytime someone is interacting with them, these get short movements. Not once per round, every time. And whenever an enemy character interacts with.
They both get it, and only one has to pay 2 power.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good.
Yep.
And I love the idea of Spider-Woman getting a couple free moves, getting an activation, getting some more free moves after she's done, double agenting the thing off of her, getting another turn, and moving around some more, because why not? Because there's so many objectives on the table.
Well, and once again, plays into that interrogation incredibly, right? So, like, you are constantly being able to move around the battlefield when objectives are being touched. So, it's just... the odds of you pulling off interrogation and being able to reliably do it on Spider-Woman over Black Widow, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. are just magnanimous. Mm-hmm. Is that a word that actually works here?
Sure, not like kinda.
Maxwellian.
Laughing at Axel in the chat. He said it's like the scene from The Boys with the girls get it done when they're just
beating up Stormfront.
Stormfront.
There we go.
Wrecking her. So good.
All right, I'm gonna steal this next one for you, Dan, because I'm really excited about it, and I'll let you do the last one. But I am so stoked for an assignment.
Oh, good. I was gonna read cleanup anyway.
All right, good. So, Guardians of the Galaxy active. So we knew that Agent Venom, or at least we were heavily hoping that Agent Venom was going to be part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and it certainly looks like he's going to with this tactics card. This is an active, and we've seen this type before, but we've never seen it in this way, where you can activate multiple of these effects. So
Yeah.
similar to Rogue or Deadpool's tactics cards. Here we go. During Agent Venom's activation, Agent Venom may spend any amount of power to play this card. Choose an option from the list below. For each 2 power spent, resolve each option completely before choosing the next. First off, Agent Venom, if he's within range 2 of an allied Gamora, Agent Venom is thrown medium.
Whee!
Note, he takes the collision as well.
Yeah.
If this
he's
is if
not
there's a
immune
collision
to it at all. He's only taken 1. Probably worth
that's
it.
fair. Yeah, that's probably
to do
fair.
3 damage.
Number 2, if Agent Venom is within range 2 of an allied Groot, Agent Venom may remove up to 3 damage. Awesome.
He just got hucked. Now he's got to get healed.
Number 3, if Agent Venom is within range 2 of an allied Star-Lord, Agent Venom may immediately make a full auto attack listed on Star-Lord's stat card without paying the power cost. After the attack is resolved, Agent Venom may advance short. He can use Star-Lord's spender for free and get a short advance. That is so rad.
Yeah, I mean, he has to pay 2 power to do it, but I think that's
still cheaper than he does it cheaper than Star-Lord does.
Right, and then he also gets to advance short.
Right.
What?
So yeah, he gets half a hit and run and a cheaper full auto. So then, if Agent Venom is within range 2 of an allied Rocket Raccoon and has already made an attack this activation, Agent Venom may immediately make an attack action. Agent Venom then advances short. Lastly, if Agent Venom is within range 2 of Drax the Destroyer, Agent Venom is thrown short and counts as size 3 during that collision.
I love that Drax is the same thing as Gamora. He just throws it harder, but shorter. He just hucks him at the ground a little ways away from him.
So here's the incredible thing. The way I read this and the way this turn order works, because you're resolving each effect fully, you are pre-spending a certain amount of power and then winging it based on the results.
Yeah.
Gamora could throw Agent Venom at a character that is close to Drax, who's then throwing him at another character, who then happens to be near Star-Lord, so then he can pick up those guns, fire a bunch, and then advance. He could go all around the board, being thrown, making attacks, making short movements.
And then next to Groot and get all healed back up.
And have no actions used.
It's so good. The only one that costs an action is the one if he's near Rocket. So may immediately make an attack action. But like Star-Lord may immediately make a full auto attack. It doesn't say it doesn't use the word action there, so yeah.
No, I don't think the Rocket Raccoon one costs an action. You just have had to have had an action already spent on an attack earlier, which could be Star-Lord's attack. I believe.
True. Yeah, because it says made an attack, doesn't say an attack action, but it says Agent Venom may immediately make an attack action.
Yeah. So there's other effects that work that way, right? So people that get follow-up attacks, or when Daredevil spends 2 for not Devil's Deliverance, but on his injured side, it says make an attack action. It would say action in that entry, like in bold, I believe, if it actually took an action. But
we could double check the rule book on exactly how it describes tactics cards to double check that one.
But I believe if early in the chain you get that Star-Lord attack off, and then you get towards Rocket at some point, you've already made an attack action. So I believe you get 2. Yeah, but so very legitimately, for a number of things in this particular box, we're gonna need to hear from Neil Goldar and Thoris and some of the others over on the rules forum.
I mean, with this much text on the card, of course, there's a little something that comes up, and it's not anything crazy. I think Rockets is probably I don't want to say the worst out of the 5. I think they're all amazing, but I think I'd be using all the other ones before rockets anyway, unless that's your only option, really. But
Right.
I love this. I first looked at this image and I was like, that's a lot of text. But oh man, that's a really cool card.
Well, and because in the past when we've seen tactics cards that are similar to this, sometimes maybe they're a little underwhelming. This one is just so perfectly thematic for Agent Venom working with the Guardians of the Galaxy, right? This is a quick
Yeah.
time event. This is a cutscene. Like, very legitimately. You're popping off, you somehow have 10 power on them, and you are just all over the place. I am calling it right now. Activations where foreign assignment happens will be some of, if not the absolute longest turns in MCP.
Oh yeah. I
Hands
mean, you
down.
got even a couple power will make that turn take so much longer.
And because it's so versatile, because it's so wild card, just what order you choose to do things in when you decide to activate it. Like, there's just so much thought that could go into this, but that's not how you should play this at all. You should spend as much power as you can, and you just full send it.
It's
Full send.
So moral victory, spend 10 power and do each of these in order on the card. You win the game.
Ooh.
It's just, that it's kind of like if you play all your tactics cards in a game, it's a moral victory.
Also, moral victory, or like, if you want to go hard mode, if you want to do the mythic version, do it and somehow daze Agent Venom in the final action of it being a throw to take out Agent Venom at the end of all this while, just pinballing him around the board.
After he's already healed 3, that would be very difficult.
100%. So what does cleanup do?
So the last card here is another really cool one and brings shines some light on Spider-Man a little bit. So this is called Cleanup. This one's unaffiliated reactive. An allied Agent Venom and allied Peter Parker may each spend 1 power to play this card during the power phase. Agent Venom gains the Spider Sense superpower to the end of the round, and Peter Parker gains Symbiotic Instincts until the end of the round. So Agent Venom gets to reroll 2 defense dice against physical and energy attacks, and Peter Parker gets to make it so you can't modify your defense dice when he attacks you.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, especially if, I don't know. Listen, Guardians can go wide. You can fit Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and Agent Venom in a Guardians list and really wreak some havoc. Also, just thinking about Amazing Spider-Man not having defensive rerolls being able to be used against him, just being a little bit more lethal, almost superior, some might say, in his hunting of prey. But I really, really, really dig that. I do wish the card had symbiotic instincts on it, though. In addition
That's
to
a
Spider
little
Sense.
odd that they put Spider Sense in there, but not Symbiotic Instincts, because I guess it's like, well, if you're using this card, you have Agent Venom right there to look at that, but you also would have Peter Parker right there. I know why. Because Amazing Spider-Man has like the mastered spider senses.
Right. Yep.
So he can reroll any defense dice, whereas Core Box Spider-Man has the regular spider sense, so you can only reroll 2.
Okay.
So in case you're using Amazing Spider-Man and not Core Box, you don't have the spider sense on one of your character cards. Good thinking, AMG.
Real quick. Back to foreign assignment. In the reading of the initial paragraph before you start choosing options, it doesn't say you can only choose an option once. It says
Okay, I didn't think of that before. Just keep throwing him.
So at least that's how I'm reading that. You could just have Drax Hulk smashing Loki just into the same character over and over again.
Just before he goes down, you get healed 3 back from. You've done it 3 times, and you get healed after 3 damage from Groot.
Right.
After you've done 4, or after you've done 4 damage collisions. Oh my god!
I feel like that has to be an oversight.
Awesome.
I feel like that has to be an oversight, but or maybe we'll be errated or FAQ'd. But yeah,
that's so good. Yeah.
Listen,
did Tim just break MCP? It still costs a bunch of power, but oh my gosh, it's so good.
I mean, just rereading that, may spend any amount of power to play this card. Choose an option from the list below for each 2 power spent. Resolve each completely before choosing the next.
Yeah, nowhere does it say that you can't choose the same one again.
Yeah, right. Right.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Right? I am so excited for Guardians to be at the top of every tournament. Nate has got to be ecstatic about this. Wow. It just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better.
It's the gift that keeps on giving, this box.
It really is. So what's going on? What are you laughing at?
Dana came down here to get some books, and I said it's the gift that keeps on giving, and she very quietly says, "It's like herpes."
Oh. All right. So, next up, we got 2 more big things to go through. We got some special action. We're actually making some pretty good time.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's still a lot more. So, we're going to close with the organized play kit.
Okay.
Because we'll get to a point where we're like, okay, we got to focus, and there's only I think we have a decent handle on how this OP kit works. But Emma Frost and Psylocke were revealed this week.
Oh, Psylocke.
And Emma Frost coming with 2 models, one in her diamond form and one in her standard form.
Nice.
These are characters that I adore. We've speculated a lot on how they might do Emma Frost, whether they would have her maybe with some Stepford Cuckoos or something along those lines, maybe as grunts. I guess I wasn't expecting diamond form, and especially as a different model, which kind of implies a whole bunch of different things, right? So if this was just a binary form, right, where she goes diamond form and it's just a defense steroid, and she gains, whatever, invulnerability 1 or immune to pain or something. I don't think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to see something more like Hood Possessed, where she's actually going to have a very different, completely separate setup. And in the box information, it does say that it comes with a separate card for that as well.
Oh, I had missed that. So like Hood, she has 2 cards. She's not like Miss Marvel with 2 sides on each.
Correct.
Healthy and injured. Interesting. So yes, I bet we were talking a bit in the Discord about how different she can be when she goes diamond form, because typically when she turns to diamond form, she loses all of her telepathy. So she should be a very different character when she changes that way. She should be a tank as opposed to probably more of a control piece.
Right. Which, I mean, talk about that is so awesome to be able to have an insanely versatile character. Maybe having Pierce on a bunch of stuff from having that diamond cut and karate chops. Some invulnerability, probably a slower mover when she's in the diamond form. Maybe having some reflection or something along those lines would be super rad. And then, yeah, probably a rather squishy character, a mentalist, a control piece specialist in the standard form.
I want to see like 2s for defenses for physical and energy when she's not in diamond form, because she can't take hits.
Correct. Yeah. No. And I completely see that probably being the case. I don't know if they'd go so far as to have her be like 115 or something like that, but I also wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. Especially
I
if they're
kind of wouldn't mind it.
Yeah. Especially if they're going to go with kind of those extremes, right? Now, it does seem like she'll be maybe a little straightforward. I would like to see mental domination as a spender on her.
Oof, okay.
Not as a tactics card.
So we don't know how to use it? Sorry, so I don't know how to use it? I like that idea a lot, because that's her thing. Like, she's not telekinetic like Jean Grey. Her telepathy's not quite on the same level as Xavier, but she's much sneakier about it.
Yes. Yep.
I want to see some kind of possession ability too, because she's not like the Shadow King, but she's certainly done it before. That was one like an eye-opening moment for Iceman back in the 90s where she took over his body, and she was like, "Wow, you have this much power and you're not doing this with it." And she was like traveling, like she had him jump into a river and like appear somewhere else because she just sent his psyche through the water and the ice, and he like reformed his body in another spot, like super far away. And he was like, "I didn't know I could do that." And she's like, "Yeah, you're not even trying."
Um, so yeah, I'm super into this. I'm really excited for the tactics cards that are going to come with this. I would love to see like a range 2 stealth. I would love to see in her psychic form. A possession would be rad. I think they have a real opportunity to do some really incredible stuff.
Yeah,
I think that she should be a 5.
agreed.
I have a feeling she'll be a 4, but she is also a leader of a new affiliation,
Hellfire Club.
the Hellfire Club. Now, who else do you know of that we have out in the game that might be a part of this affiliation? Is this kind of another exfiliation? I mean, Jean Grey's been part of the Hellfire Club. Cyclops has been part of the Hellfire Club. I mean, if you count some of the not alternate reality, but like House of M, right? The Hellfire Club was a completely different arrangement. Um,
Oh yeah.
I think you could do kind of a lot of stuff here. I would like to see some love for characters like Cyclops in something along these lines, and maybe some of the unsung heroes of the X-Men being able to
Yes.
be put in this. I don't want to see Wolverine in it.
No,
Either one.
that would make sense.
Honestly, any
having
of
a
the
hard
6
time.
Wolverines, I don't want to see in here. Either the 2 regular Wolverines, the 2 Sabretooth Wolverines, X-23, or Honey Badger. All
Or
6 of
Baby
those
Wolverine.
Wolverines, yeah, get them. Or Jonathan even. Yeah, none of them. Well, Jonathan's okay actually. Jonathan could be in the Hellfire Club.
And I'm trying to think of who else would be in that affiliation. Like, there's not
Storm
like
and
the Hellfire
Magneto.
Club has their very core group of members that I'd be shocked if we ever got in this game. Like maybe Sebastian Shaw with like Hellfire goons as grunts. I would actually really like that. But like Pierce or Leland, like not likely. Mastermind probably that I feel like he would be more likely at some point.
Who was the kid
Um
that was running the Hellfire Club for a little while? He had all the masked
Oh,
goons.
right. Well, there was like the Hellfire Club was they kind of tried to make their own that was run by a bunch of kids that were like there was like a Frankenstein's ancestor kid who's like a super genius. What was that? Who was that kid? Cade Killian or something like
That
that?
sounds right. I remember
Um
reading some of that, or maybe I mean, there's been all these Hellfire galas as well, right? Recently, and in some of the more recent comic lines, they could be
yeah, it all
doing something
depends
with
on
that.
what iteration of the Hellfire Club are you talking about? Because right now in the X-Men universe, the Hellfire Club is like I think it's Emma and Sebastian's like corporation. It's like the Hellfire. I don't think they use the word corporation, but it's like a legitimate business
Yeah,
kind of thing. So like, I don't know. That there's a lot of potential. I don't know which way they're going to go with it
hmm
because there's not a lot of characters in the game right now that fit for it to me. So I guess we'll see.
maybe we'll get some more announcements, kind of going into the convention season where we'll get some rad new stuff.
I would love
Maybe
to see
it's a
more new Hellfire characters. Yeah.
maybe it's a new Dark Dimension where
Oh,
right? Where
I like
Emma
that.
Frost is the leader, and listen, she's inducting people and constantly training up her own team and letting them constantly die all the time. Just in general.
Hellions.
Hellions.
Thank you, Ravensguard. Hellfire Trading Company. That's what it
The
is.
old HTC. That's the one for me.
No, I would love to see a new. Well, we haven't seen a new affiliation card that kind of revealed things coming out in the future in a long time. So I'd love to
Mm-hmm.
see that list with like Sebastian Shaw, Kitty Pryde. Um, maybe like the kind of more recent Marauders group could be considered
Yeah.
Hellfire Club. That sounds really, really cool.
There was a different team that Emma Frost helped lead for a while. Like we said, the Hellions, but there was an X-Men team too, right? With a very popular character that everyone wants out. Uh, that's Rebellion Edition Cyclops, post AVX Cyclops, also as a new leader, with a toned down Magneto and the only Gold Balls.
Gold balls. Yeah, I want gold balls edition, not egg.
Yeah, yeah. If it
Gold Balls is a way better name.
gold balls are nothing.
Gold Balls are bust.
So moving right along to Psylocke. Here's my expectation: she'll be a 3, and I will be
Yeah.
mad about it.
So
She will have a character card like Magic. I am expecting 100% a replay of my reaction to Magic, where I'm like, Psylocke is so awesome. All this stuff is dumb. It's just Pierce. And then she'll have some ability that I'll read wrong, where she counts the opponent's wilds or whatever as successes in anything that she does. And yeah, and then I'll be like, oh wow, she's actually pretty solid.
I hope for a Crimson Dawn version of Psylocke when she was like sort of possessed by demons and had more powers besides her like psychic knife. So she'll have a rad mystic attack that's like super close range with Pierce and
Yes.
whatnot. Maybe concussive because we need that in more places. And I
Get
want
out.
her to have a shadow step ability where she has like a place within two because she used for a brief time she could teleport through shadows and that was awesome.
I didn't know that actually. That's pretty rad.
Oh yeah, there's a mini series called Crimson Dawn that's all about Psylocke and Archangel trying to deal with this stuff when he had feathered wings but was still blue, whatever in the 90s. Really cool mini series. But yeah, she was like she was all kinds of messed up like mentally because she had like these things inside her like demons or something like that. But she had cool powers with it.
So one of my favorite runs with Psylocke was an X Force run. So I think we could see her in X Force as well, which would be awesome. I would very much like that. That
You should
team
definitely be an X-Force.
that team with Archangel, Wolverine, Deadpool, and Vanisher, I believe, even briefly after
Yeah.
that was an awesome group, and like you said, constantly dealing with that the Angel thing, like trying to have him work through his stuff. Oh, and Phantom X was there too.
Yeah,
Oh,
Uncanny X-Force. If you haven't read Uncanny X, I believe it's Matt Fraction, but I might be mistaken. It might be Rick Remender. Actually, I'm pretty sure
I
it's Rick
think it is
Remender.
Rick Remender because
If you
I
haven't
remember that
read,
name and not Matt Fraction.
if you haven't read the Uncanny X-Force, do it. It's so good. Kid Apocalypse. It sounds like a dumb plot device, but it's so well done.
Yeah,
Just
just
look it up right now just to make sure I get that right. I'm pretty sure it's Rick Remender.
what we need when
Yes,
we
it
get
is.
Angel or Archangel out is I need a team up tactics card that with Deadpool that references that scene where Archangel is knocked out, they're on the moon, they're trying to find Kid Apocalypse, and Deadpool pulls out of his utility belt a little Deadpool pop-up tent, and he gets Archangel inside there and starts cutting off strips of his flesh to feed Archangel to keep him
It's
alive.
so good.
It
It's
is
so messed up. It's
it
so
is.
good.
Ah, man.
One of the best
Rusty,
parts of
hey.
that arc is that it flows really well into the Uncanny Avengers,
Mhm.
where it was a team of they called themselves Avengers, but it was a mix of classic Avengers and X-Men on the same team with like Rogue and Captain America kind of co-led. Also stellar, and a lot of those plots kind of moved into that series. Really, really good. Good use of Grim Reaper of all characters in that.
Yes.
Like I had barely heard of that guy until reading that, and it was like, wow, it's so good. Rick Remender is
It also
underrated.
isn't that the one that had Synapse as well? She was an Inhuman, and Deadpool, Quicksilver, and who else was in that team? Havoc. Nope, Havoc was in the other team. There was like
I feel
two
like you're
teams that
thinking
were
of a
like supposed
different
to be
one.
kind of blending in Avenger mutants and Avengers. Maybe I'm thinking of
Yeah,
a
I
different
think there may have been two. Like there was probably a Kenny Avengers and something else at the same time. Let's see. There was Thor, Havoc, Scarlet Witch, Rogue, Wolverine, Captain America. They're on like the cover of it.
Gotcha. There was
Oh,
definitely one
that was such a good
with
series.
Quicksilver, Rogue, Deadpool, Synapse. Who was the other one? I can't remember. But yeah, it was
Oh, here
so
we go. Yeah, that was later. That was
Oh, okay.
another. I see another Uncanny Avengers team. Looks like, um, what's his name? Human Torch, Captain America, Rogue, Deadpool. I guess that's Synapse, Quicksilver, Doctor Voodoo, and Spider Man.
Nice.
I'm not sure who Synapse is, but
She was an Inhuman. She could like mess up people's brain chemistry. Terry Crews's character in Deadpool 2 was actually pretty similar to what she did. She could like distort electrical fields, and it could like break people's concentration or brainstem activity and stuff. She was pretty cool. But she was like a mutant and an Inhuman, or there was some like weird thing where she was kind of like brought in as like, well, hey, now maybe the Inhumans can be involved. So maybe Alyssa, this is the way we get some more Inhumans. Just not any of the ones anyone's asking for. But
you're welcome, Alyssa.
But moving on to the last part here, is this OP kit. And this is coming out at Adepticon. This is insanely exciting because this looks absolutely incredible. So they did reveal a lot of it. We see the full, and so a brief description here. This one is called Just the Parker Luck.
So good.
And unlike a lot of the other ones where you are playing, outside the Hulk one, where you're playing, a big crisis threat that the heroes are banding together to stop, this time you're effectively making your own ad hoc Sinister Six, trying to reveal Spider-Man's secret identity during a convention.
That's so good.
It is so good.
I gotta try to read through some more of this real quick.
So here's kind of the setup, right?
Oh my God, just the first line.
The entire purpose of this setup is the villains have put, and Spider-Man is putting cameras everywhere, right? He has to pay his rent. And how does he do that? He takes pictures of himself beating up villains at a convention where he was just trying to take selfies with fans. Spider-Man can interact with terrain features and put cameras on them. The tokens have notches in them, which show the angle of view that the camera is focusing on.
What?
He gets victory points if he dazes an enemy character within line of sight of a camera. Also, in addition to that, he has a whole bunch of really neat abilities. So to just run through this quick, he's a long mover, 5'4", on his healthy side. He's immune to root, stagger, and stun. 10 health, size 2. And here are his attacks. Thwip, thwip. So this is a range 4, strength 5 physical attack. After the attack is resolved, he gains power equal to the damage dealt. Stick around on a wild. After the attack is resolved, the target character gains slow. If they already have slow, they gain root instead. So him just slowing down every one of these opponents, there's a bunch of them on the map, right? You got to slow them down, get them slowed, get them rooted, waste their actions, waste their movement, waste their power. That is how you beat a group. His spender, 3 power, range 2, 6 strength. Say cheese! He can choose if it's physical or energy. If this is the attack that dazes or would KO a target character, and the target character is within line of sight of a camera, he scores a victory point. There's also a trigger on it where the target does not gain power equal to the damage dealt. Now,
flashy,
right? So they have a whole bunch of rules for the camera's line of sight, right? If you are trying to snap a picture of Rhino while you're beating him up, you get terrain can block it. You have to be able to draw line of sight, and it has to be a line of sight in the field of view of the notch of the camera. If the terrain is destroyed that the camera is on, the camera is also destroyed. But what is the Sinister Six trying to do? They are trying to reveal Peter Parker's identity. Those cameras can also be his downfall. When he flips to his injured side, he loses all attacks. And it is his primary focus to not get snapped with his face showing in front of those cameras.
Because his mask rips because he's injured.
On his flip side, no attacks. He has thinking fast. He can go to congoers like he can, I believe, on his... No, he can't do that on his healthy side. But for 3 power, he can choose a congoer within range 2. And then he places himself within one of it, and then he places the congoer within one of him. The cosmic threat cannot be KO'd, but if it would be KO'd, the Crisis team scores 1 victory point, then removes all damage and special conditions from this character. So how you get him down is you flip him, and then take him down again. Secret identity. If this character ends its activation and is not in line of sight of a camera, it may flip its stat card to its healthy side. Do not remove any damage or special conditions from this character. So there's a very neat play here where he can get back to his healthy side. He's not removing his damage. Now, granted, on his injured side, he only has 4 stamina. So if he's not, so he's going to be gaining a maximum stamina of 6 to 7, right? But this is all about, like, I just got to get around the corner, out of sight of the cameras, put another mask on quick, and then I can get right back into it.
It's amazing.
This is so incredible.
There's so many little sprinkles they put in here, like the difficulty levels: narrative, normal, hard, rent is due. It's the hardest difficulty.
One thing I will say,
I can't wait for this.
This was something that that confused us a little bit with the Unstoppable Colossus and that. It does specifically state that the Spider-Man that you use for this is on the 35 millimeter base. So,
nice.
Amazing Spider-Man and Peter Parker Spider-Man both have different base sizes. This lets you know which one you're supposed to be using. Okay, so as the difficulty goes up, there's more starting cameras, and what's so interesting here is the crisis threat. The Spider-Man can, in fact, remove cameras from the battlefield. But he also needs those cameras to get victory points himself. He can put them on terrain features and remove them. Both sides want those cameras on the field. It'll be a constant back and forth, a wild scramble of Spider-Man moving around, right? And that's just, when I think of Spider-Man, it's like, okay, Vulture's up here, I gotta web him up, slow him down, so I can do this thing to Rhino over here, and then move them back over here, and if I can line these up, then I can hit them together. It is so perfect. It is so in character. It's just, the story is on point with this. I could not be more excited.
Just at first glance, this seems like the best one yet. This seems so well done.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't even seen the whole thing yet. Because, what are these pumpkin bomb tokens?
So my understanding, in the brief description, it does talk about how there are traps that the Sinister Six or the groups that are fighting Spider-Man are trying to get the con goers into these traps to lure Spider-Man out. So my expectation is that they get victory points when they get pictures of Spider-Man's secret identity, as well as removing con goers from the board potentially, or getting them in these traps.
I love it so much. And people are also freaking out that there's Vulture on the cover of this.
There sure is.
We haven't seen him in any artwork. Oh, I did want to mention when we were talking about the tactics cards that the cleanup card shows Scorpion and Shocker, which we expect them in here eventually. We'll get them, but it's nice to see them on the images, because to me that shows, if nothing else, AMG has the rights for those characters to be able to use them in the game. Doesn't always mean we'll get the characters soon, because we saw like Quake on a tactics card forever ago. We haven't seen her yet, but it means there's hope.
So Spider-Man also gets victory points for taking selfies at the cleanup phase. He could spend some power if he's within range 2 of a... Oh no, we've lost Dan. If he's within range 2 of a... Oh, he's coming back, maybe. But... So if he's within range 2 of a dazed enemy character during the cleanup phase, he can spend a little extra, almost kind of like a selfie interrogation, as we discussed earlier. But just awesome. Gains additional power during the power phase, can reroll all defense and dodge dice. And don't be a stranger, he gets a bunch of extra movement and stuff like that. But yeah, this is exciting. This is only going to be at Adepticon, at least to start. And I guess I don't know what else you could want as far as a perfectly narrative organized play kit for a convention is Spider-Man getting trapped at a convention.
I cannot wait.
So Adepticon is going to have so much stuff. So there are, once again, I mentioned this at the top of the show, on the Adepticon site, there were a few events that were like to be announced organized play kit. This is it. Get a ticket to one of them. Do it. Please do yourself that favor. If you can get a spot in for Shatterpoint as well, highly suggest it. Adepticon is going to be off the charts this year. We're going to potentially be there, I hope. Yeah, it's going to be really, 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 really exciting. And sold out in 15 minutes. So if you didn't get tickets to the Challenger, there was a wait list, but it's a very small pool. That wait list fills up. They will, I believe, be making an announcement if there are more slots to open. But yeah, between Legion Worlds, Armada, X-Wing, MCP, it is going to be a huge, 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 huge Adepticon for AMG.
Can't wait.
That said, too, listen, there's going to be a lot more in between now and Adepticon. LVO is next week. Biggest, most beautiful, qualified championship is going to be happening next week. We're going to be streaming it all, every last bit of it. We're going to be doing a bunch of interviews with players. These are people that you know. Some of them you love. Some of them you love even more. And listen, we're going to have a whole bunch of people on. Omnis is going to be there. Lexa White, Ben, the Montreal Shark Tank. Listen, every single person that you've probably seen on one of our finals, one of our top tables from convention going is probably going to be there. Shane Smith, I think he qualified, but I don't think he's able to make it. So you got to see it's really the Hellfire Gala of MCP. And as far as competition,
we got to dress in crazy costumes for it.
Oh, 100%. All the Danger Room guys, I believe, are all going to be there. I would be shocked if there's a podcaster for MCP that won't be in attendance. So, he didn't qualify. Never mind. I'm sorry. But congratulations real quick to Shane for becoming the number 1 ranked Spider-Foes player, I believe, in the country or the world.
Whoa.
Ben was telling me about it yesterday, but congrats, Shane.
That's awesome. Yeah. Congratulations.
But Ben qualified. He's going to be there. Alyssa's going to be there. It's going to be off the charts. Taylor, myself, Dan, Danny, Lindsay. Listen, the whole squad's going. And now Ben is in the top 100 in the world.
Oh, congrats, man.
Yeah, for real. All right, guys. Lastly, if you've been checking out the World of Warcraft streams during the week, you'll see every single day I struggle to remember every single one of the names of some of our highest supporters over on the Patreon at patreon.com/professionalcasual. And just real quick, we can't thank you enough for that support. Whether it's here on Twitch, whether it's listening and downloading the podcast, interacting with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all those links are right down below. We also have a couple sponsorships. One is BetterHelp.com. They provide online therapy. Highly suggest them. It's a service that I have gotten use out of as well. If you are thinking about needing to talk, maybe you're overwhelmed, or you just need someone to talk to, and finding the time to find a specialist in your area is very difficult. Listen, there's resources for that. BetterHelp.com/professionalcasual is a way to do it. It might not be the end result for your therapy journey and your mental health journey, but it's a start, and it's doable and quick, and you will be matched with a therapist that is within the qualifications that you are looking for and your specialties, and you can it's really awesome. The service is very good. Would highly suggest it, and it supports us directly. So support us while supporting yourself. You know what I mean? What could be worse than that? Also, Dubby.com, new energy drink sponsor. These guys make caffeinated and non-caffeinated, non-crash, no jitters energy drinks. Rather inexpensive overall. You buy them in a tub. It's like 20, 30, 40 servings. And the stuff is really good. They just came out with my favorite flavor, blue.
Yeah, blue.
And they have a non-caffeinated version as well. I really like these things. I'm pretty caffeine sensitive. If I have it after like 2 p.m., I am up all night. but they have a non-caffeinated versions, a bunch of B vitamins and some focus stuff in there that's very good, especially for that 2, 3, 4 o'clock where you're lagging, but caffeine is a bad call. Their non-stim is actually very, very, very good. But that supports us as well. Use code Professional Casual at checkout. But leaving reviews on Spotify, Audible, Audition. Listen, you can download the Audition app if you want to edit audio and leave a review there. Amazon wish lists, leave reviews there for this show. Get us into more people's ear holes on their phones and their cars. It really helps us a ton. 5-star reviews on any one of those platforms. Tell them Big Chuck sent you. You know what I mean? Just bring it full circle. And
I saw him yesterday.
I was talking to him a little the other day. He really teed up and got me real good with a joke. Brought up someone from my past that like I knew, and then just left hooked. And I lost it. I had literal hash brown in my nose that I was struggling to get out because I was eating a hash brown and laughed, and it was painful. But listen, the joke was worth it. But
always.
Huge shout out to all of our supporters here on Twitch, whether it's subscriptions, Amazon Prime subs, bits, sound redemptions, stickers, all that stuff. Really appreciate that. And especially all of the patrons over at patreon.com/professional casual network, especially our King Ding Doppeldongers and our professional cake sitters, including Bastion, Rob, Tony Hot Hands, Leroy, Bicon, Cider Drinker, Dr. D, Devil Pup, Otis, and Dagna.
And a new one.
And there's a new one?
As of less than an hour ago.
I know! I had it! It doesn't count! It doesn't count!
Iron Maze.
Who is?
Iron Maze.
Oh, Iron Maze, thank you so much for... I can't count it all in 2 hands no more.
They joined the Professional Cake Sitter and the WoW Guildies.
Oh, nice! Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate that, guys. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, and I was so confident I was going to get them all that time, and...
Knew it, because I saw that early while we were streaming out, and you still were like, I'm going to get them all this time. I was like, I bet he didn't see that one.
I didn't. I didn't. But thank you.
It just happened.
But guys, thank you so much. Make sure to follow us right here on Twitch and then over on the YouTube if you want to catch this at a later point. We come out every Tuesday with this. And make sure to check out Mitch's episode, special one, next week on Tuesday. No live show, but podcast version will still be out. Mitch is here talking about terrain for episode 100.
Ooh.
What did I forget anything, Dan? What else we got? Oh, just tons of stuff over at professionalcasual.com. You want blogs on WFRP 4th edition? You want a WFRP 4th edition podcast? Listen, we got it. Professionalcasual.com. Lost Omens podcast. You hear about this Wizards stuff? You know what Wizards is doing right now? All sorts of bad stuff. You want a podcast about a show that's kind of like D&D but better? Guess what? We got it. Lost Omens every Monday.
Join the throngs of people that are moving to the Lost Omens podcast. It's really exciting.
Yep. Are we the next Critical Role? No. Are we the next Unnatural 20? Yes. Some people call it a dirty 20. It's not a natural 20, but listen, you still got the 20. Was it a good roll? Was it the DC? I don't know. It's all relative.
Dirty 20s would have been a great name for that show.
Yeah, it would have been, actually.
2 years too late.
Right? But there's a ton of it out there, guys, and you can check out video for that over on the YouTube as well if you want to get a taste. Because all of the video for all of those shows and episodes a week early are over on the Patreon as well. Get access to the Discord. Guess what? It's free now. If you are in this chat right now, if you are in Twitch chat and you are not on our Discord, hit !Discord. That'll give you the link to join the Discord for free. A special freemium version of the Discord. And if you want to join the WoW Guild, same thing. !Guild. It'll let you know where we're at, what we're doing. Let's form a community. Let's have a great time together. What else?
I love you.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Have a good week. We'll see you actually a whole ton very soon.
Yeah, right. We'll be on here a lot.
The screen's going to stay starting soon, but it's just because I haven't made a new ending soon. Bye.